In this video, I'm going to give you guys a complete mental guide to succeeding as a basketball player. So whether you struggle with confidence, overthinking, dealing with adversity, or just simply staying motivated, we're going to cover all of it so you guys can fully understand each topic and know exactly what to do to build in those areas. So the very first thing is confidence. What is confidence? At the end of the day, it's belief in yourself. So a lot of people like to think, hey, it's just preparation. It's just what you do on the court that's going to build your confidence. In reality, what you do off the court is also tied to your confidence on the court. So the number one area in terms of this is just doing what you say you're going to do. If confidence is your trust in yourself, but you're constantly breaking your own word, hey, I'm going to get up at this time and you don't. I'm going to get up 500 shots, 200 is good enough. I'm going to lift 4 days a week, 1 day is good enough, right? If you're constantly breaking your own word, no wonder you're not going to trust yourself or be confident on the court. And the other thing is when you're doing these things and you know, hey, I don't want to do this right now, but I said I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it anyways, that's going to build your confidence because you're doing shit that you don't want to do. You're testing yourself, you're dealing with adversity, and you're doing it anyways. That is going to build your confidence a lot more than just saying, oh, I'm going to go to the court and do some workouts and expect to be confident. It's just simply not going to work like that. And the second thing comes down to your preparation. So a lot of people like to think, hey, I'm in the gym, I'm getting up my shots, I'm doing my stationary ball handling. Why am I not confident? Because you're not testing yourself, you're not challenged, you're not dealing with adversity. Being confident doesn't just come from doing a bunch of easy little menial tasks and thinking, hey, I'm going to be confident in the heat of the game when there's pressure, it's the playoff, coach is expecting me to make a knockdown shot when I have this pressure and all you did was stationary spot shots, all you did was just some stationary ball handling. No wonder you're not going to be confident when someone's in your face guarding you in the championship game. No shit. So at the end of the day, if you want to be prepared and be confident, you need to challenge yourself. You need to purposely put yourself in situations that are difficult. Go to the park, get your ass busted by kids 3, 4, 5 years older than you. Constantly battle test yourself, and when you can deal with that adversity, deal with that difficulty and get above it or go through it, you're going to be much more confident in yourself because you know, hey, I can deal with something that's difficult and get through it and get better because of it. So at the end of the day, it's not just preparation or just getting in the gym and working out. It's about what you do and the level of difficulty that you do it with. Now, the third thing with confidence is what you say to yourself. A lot of people like to say, hey, this doesn't really matter. I can say whatever I want to myself and it doesn't matter. Imagine if you had a coach in your ear who was constantly telling you, you suck, you're not good enough, you can't shoot. You'd be like, dude, shut up, stop telling me that. Why are you saying, like, that's not building my confidence. But most of you guys are doing that to yourself all day long. You're saying, I can't dribble, I can't do this, I can't do this, I suck. No wonder you're not confident because you're constantly telling yourself you're not good enough. So you need to start paying attention to the language that you use and how you talk to yourself. As corny as it may seem, it absolutely affects yourself because if you say something over and over again, eventually you are going to believe it, even if it's just subconscious. Now, the next major point that a lot of people deal with is overthinking. Now, there's a lot of different caveats to this and reasons why you're overthinking. Number one, for most of you guys, your training sucks. All of your training is on air and predetermined. So no wonder when you get into the game, you're overthinking. You're thinking, okay, I need to do this. I was working on this move. This is what I got to do. I was working on my shot, trying to tuck my elbow. No wonder you're going to overthink because that's exactly what your training looks like. So for most of you guys, if you're training by yourself, try to add in more freestyle stuff where you're just going with the flow. You're in the moment. You're not thinking about what you're going to do. You're just going with the flow. And then for most of you guys, you need a lot more live training where again, you're not overthinking. You're not trying to be over analytical with every little movement that you do, but just simply being in the moment and being able to see the defender in front of you or the situation and be able to react. The best players are the ones that can do that can just simply be in the moment, turn their brain off, rely on instincts, rely on their training, and just go with the flow. But a lot of people, again, because their training is not structured that way, their training methods are always analytical, thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, right? It's not just instinctive because that's not how they train. So it's going to translate over to the court. So again, if you want to stop overthinking, part of it is how you train. Now, the second thing when it comes to overthinking is caring too much about the results or caring too much about what other people think. And a lot of this is just tied to your identity where, hey, I am a basketball player. If I play good, my identity is positive. If I play bad, my identity is negative. And this is a very, very tough place to be. Now, when you look at a lot of the best players, their whole identity is not just them as basketball players. You look at someone like Jokic, who's one of the best players in the league. He races horses in the summer. He doesn't even work out in the summer. He really doesn't care about basketball. He just realized, hey, I'm good at it. This is my job. And he's actually going to play better because he doesn't care, because his whole identity is not a basketball player. Even someone like Kobe, during his basketball career, he was tapped into other things. Jimmy Butler, when he went on that crazy run during the COVID era, he was actually like building a coffee business in his hotel room on the side. So his whole identity is not just basketball, basketball, basketball. They have other interests and realize, hey, this isn't everything. And I actually noticed this myself when I was a player, when I stopped playing and I stopped caring about the results, how I was playing. I stopped caring about what other people think based on my performance. I actually played a lot better because I was more relaxed. I was just able to get into flow state. I was able to just be in the moment and not really care about what happened. And I know this is a really tough place to get to and it sounds very counterintuitive, like, oh wow, not caring as much is actually going to help me play better. Yes, but you just have to realize, hey, even if all you care about is basketball, at the end of the day, you're going to stop playing. So I think one of the best ways to help you caring as much, quote unquote, is again, even if you're the most elite basketball player, the ball is going to stop bouncing eventually. And when you get to that point, you're really not going to care how you played on a Tuesday in practice or how you played as a JV player, in front of a crowd. You're really not going to care then. So why are you really going to care and get all worked up about it now? And then just realizing that it's literally just a game. for now. For some of you guys, if you're pro players, it's a little bit different. This is your job. You kind of need to care about how you're performing. But again, if you can care a little bit less, you'll probably perform better, which is going to help you with your job. But again, if you're not getting paid to play, even if you're just a college player or you're a high school player, this is a game. You play this game because you enjoy it, because it's fun. So you need to remember that. It's very easy to get caught up in, hey, this is everything. If I play bad, my life is terrible. If I play good, my life is good. I'm going to get caught into this. You just can stop overthinking for a second and realize, hey, this is a game. I started playing this game for fun. I'm not getting paid. I'm not really getting anything out of this other than fun. Now, if it can get to the point where, hey, let me just make sure I'm getting back to that original goal of having fun, because that's what it's for, I promise you are going to play better and you're going to care less about the result. And when you can care less about the result, you'll actually get better. So in the long term, how you play on a random Tuesday isn't going to matter. People really aren't going to remember past, say, the next day, even if you played really, really bad. And number 3 is you're more than just a basketball player. Don't tie your whole entire identity to it. Have some other interests. Be somebody more than just a basketball player, and you'll actually perform better as a basketball player. So the next thing is being able to effectively deal with adversity. Over the course of a long season, you're going to have good games, you're going to have bad games. Over the course of a long career, you may get hurt, you may tear your ACL, you may be out for a little while. That's just life. There's ups and downs. You need to be able to effectively deal with it. And a couple of the best ways that at least I know how to deal with this is, number 1, zoom out. You had a really, really bad game. Just zoom out a little bit. Zoom out maybe a month or a year. Is it really going to matter? In some instances, most likely not, right? So a lot of people have a tough time dealing with the adversities because they're so zoomed in, right? Bad game, maybe a bad practice, or maybe they just tweaked their ankle, they're out for 2 weeks. Zoom out. You're a JV player. You just tweaked your ankle. You're going to be fine. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. Okay, in the bigger picture, in a year, it's not going to matter. I'm going to bounce back on my feet. I'm going to be okay. So a lot of people have a tough time because they zoom in. When in reality, if you can just zoom out, look at the bigger picture, that will help you kind of reframe it just a little bit. Now, the next thing in terms of dealing with adversity is actually reframe it to, what can I get out of this? What can I learn? How can I be better from this? Okay, you hurt your ankle. You're out for 6 weeks, but your left hand is trash. Okay, let me work on my left hand. All right, hurt my ankle. I can't really move around. My shot's trash. Okay, this is a perfect time for me to actually change the mechanics on my shot. So then when I do return, I'm actually better. Or maybe your IQ is terrible. Okay, I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks because I can't run on the computer, learning, watching film. I'm going to come back better. Versus on the other end of the spectrum, you could sit there, you could whine, you could pout, oh, this is terrible me. Oh, I'm going to be worse when I come back. There's 2 types of people in that instance. You can be either one or you can be the other. So the best players are going to reframe adversities. Okay, I played a bad game. How can I get back from this? How can I learn from this? I'm going to watch my film. I'm going to go back and I'm going to practice every single one of those shots. I'm going to put myself in those exact situations and work on those decisions. The best players are going to do that and say, hey, this is what's in front of me. This is the chessboard of life. This is what happened. How am I going to learn from this? How am I going to get better? The worst players, mentally and physically, are just going to see situations. They're going to point the finger. They are going to blame, and they're not going to get better from it. So by just simply making those 2 reframes, zoom out, and then how can I learn from this? How can I get better? And how can I move forward? That's how you're going to be able to deal with the ups and downs and just the cyclical nature of life in general. So the next thing is just simply staying motivated over a long basketball career. Say you're an 8th grader, you're a freshman, you're in high school, and I'm trying to go play pro. I'm trying to go in college. You could have 8, 10, 12 years of basketball ahead of you. It's very tough to stay motivated during that entire time. Same thing with an off season, or even during the season. You have a 4, 5 month season. You're not really playing a lot. You have a lot of practices. It's very tough to stay motivated. So a couple different tips you guys can use is, number 1 is I would try to set micro goals during each block of the year. So say you have an off season. Okay, I'm going to set a couple micro goals that I'm focused on in this 90-day period. So as opposed to like, okay, I have 10 years or I have an entire year or 2 years or 3 years till I get to college. No, I just have this 90-day block that I'm going to focus on. I have these micro goals. Let me focus intently on that. And ideally, you want to set these goals as action goals. So as opposed to everything being, results oriented, hey, I want to score 25 points a game, or I want to get a scholarship. Again, that could be 2-3 years down the road. I'm going to focus on this 90-day block, and I'm going to set action goals. Hey, I want to make 250 difficult shots every single day. That's a micro goal. It's action oriented. Hey, I just need to focus on that. As opposed to focusing on a result that could be years down the road, I'm just focused on today in the one action. So it's a lot more motivated to go and do that. It's going to lead to your results goals as opposed to just having those results goals. So I would break down the year into, say, 90-day block. Off season, I had these micro goals. During the season, I have these micro goals, especially if you're not playing. Maybe you're just in practice. Hey, I need to find a way to make this interesting, to challenge myself, to set goals. Hey, I'm in practice. I want to score 3 buckets with my left hand every single day, right? That's just a random thing. It's obviously going to be more tailored towards you, but find ways to set these micro goals each block during the year. So off season, during the season, first off season block, second off season block, right? Let's continuously find ways to set these goals, make them action oriented, and then decrease the block. Okay, I'm going to go 90 days hard. Okay, then I'm going to maybe take a week off. Then I'm going to enjoy myself a little bit. Then I'm going to go back to it, right? If you're just trying to work out every single day, you're just trying to put in max effort without any real goals, you're going to get very tired. You're going to get unmotivated. It's just going to happen. So if you can do these little things, that's going to help keep everything excited, keep you sprinting, going harder for shorter periods of time, take a little bit of a break, and then you're back to it again, right? A lot of people burn themselves out because they have no real goals, or they're just simply way too far into the future for them to really be motivated to like, hey, I'm right there, I can grab it, right? It's like the carrot analogy. If the carrot's right in front of you, you're going to be more motivated to go get it versus if if it's fucking 10 miles down the road, like, what's really the point, right? I'm not gonna get there. Versus if it's right in front of you, hey, 90 days, I can reach it, I can accomplish it, you're gonna be much more motivated to go and achieve that. So overall, if I'm a basketball player, I'm going to implement every single tip that I gave you guys today, because number one, I've done this as a basketball player. I've been there, I've done that, but I've also trained thousands of basketball players at every single level. And if every single one of them can implement this, I guarantee you are going to be much better off. So if this helped you guys, let me know which part of this video helped you, and then I'll know you guys stuck around to the end and you guys are serious about getting better, both physically and mentally.